Joe, how the stand-in is ready. Go say your vows. I have a flight to catch. At my own wedding, my CEO wife, by Xian, stood there in a tracksuit, smiling as she shoved a decoy bride into my arms. It was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. But looking at this lookalike who was 70% her, I could not smile. We had been together for 7 years. She always used the company's IPO as an excuse to delay our wedding. I worked myself to the bone for her, sacrificing my youth and health to build her team and land clients. I finally got the company listed, and our wedding day was finally here. I thought I was marrying her, but at the last second, everything shattered. She bailed and threw a stand-in at me. As I stood there speechless, she checked her watch, looking annoyed. Joe, how? Do not ruin your big day. If I did not care about our 7 years together, I would not even bother hiring a decoy for you. You would be a laughingstock by now. Look, I do not have time to waste. Yes or no, are we getting married? The moment she stopped talking, our friends and colleagues piped up right on cue, trying to persuade me. How it is just to go through the motions. Why ruin your own wedding day? Exactly, directed Joe. Young, beautiful, and successful wives like President Bai do not grow on trees. It is just a ceremony. You two are still married. Plus, the stand-in looks almost exactly like her. She looks 70% like her, so nobody will even notice. What are you worried about? The entire room lectured me, making me feel like the child throwing a tantrum. It was painfully obvious. I was the only one kept in the dark about this whole wedding from the very beginning, no matter how sweet they tried to spin it. Their eyes were filled with nothing but pity and contempt. To them, I was just a lapdog kept by After all, if my wife truly loved me, she would never let a decoy stand beside me. She would never let a decoy stand there while she jet-setted across the globe with her first love. I did not blow up though. Instead, I looked at Yu, the mastermind behind this farce. He was my wife's dream boy, the same guy who abandoned her 10 years ago. Back then Yu dumped her to chase a rich heiress. Now that she was wealthy, he crawled back, weeping about his tragic secrets and undying love. Shockingly, she bought his lies instantly. She did not just forgive him, she brought him straight into our company. She made him a top executive, even replacing herself with a decoy just to go on a vacation with him. Catching me staring, Yu sneered. What are you looking at, old man? Sister Shine did not abandon you completely. She actually hired a stand-in to finish our wedding. You should be down on your knees thanking her. If you do not want us traveling together, just say so. Stop playing the victim. We can all see right through you. I sneered inwardly. His cheap tricks had not changed a bit. Ever since she hired him, he had been twisting the truth to make me look like the bad guy. It worked. The entire office gossiped that I was a fake, and even my wife started believing I was a manipulative, power-hungry schemer. In her eyes, his petty insults were just him being honest and direct. But I was done playing their stupid games. Instead of losing my temper, I forced a smile. Why would I ever stop you two from traveling? I asked smoothly. President Bai has worked tirelessly for our startup. It is my turn to step up. Whether it is the wedding or company business, I will follow your lead. Enjoy your trip. I handed her a stack of papers with a calm smile. Just sign this financial report first, so I can get finance to process payroll this afternoon. She froze, shocked by my easy compliance. After studying my face for a moment, she let out a sigh of relief. Without glancing at the pages, she flipped to the end and signed her name with a flourish. See, was that so hard, she said. You did well today. Run the wedding and keep the company afloat. When I get back, I will think about a raise. Once, those words would have thrilled me. I would have thought she finally appreciated my hard work. But nah, I saw right through her. This was not appreciation. The company had just gone public, and things were in absolute chaos. She had no clue how to run a business. She was just overwhelmed and wanted a cheap excuse to run off with her lover. If she divorced me now, she would lose her free labor. Without me keeping the lights on, she could never enjoy her dates. But hearing about my promotion, Yu scowled. Managing things for Sister Xian is your job. Do not actually expect a raise. Besides, if your incompetence had not caused our sales to slide, Sister Xian would not be so exhausted, right? My jaw clenched. If she had not forced this useless idiot into our company and handed him key projects, our sales would be fine. But she agreed with him without hesitation. Yu has a point. I almost let your acting fool me again. I do not pay you 5,000 yuan a month to slack off. Listening to her, I had to fight back a sarcastic laugh. She actually had the nerve to bring up my pay. I founded this entire startup. I only transferred the majority shares to her as a reward for sticking by me. But the moment she became CEO, she grew incredibly greedy and entitled. She took everything I did for granted and squeezed my salary to the absolute limit, claiming senior staff needed to set an example. In the end, new interns were making 6,000, while I, the founder, got practically nothing. I was paid a measly 5,000 yuan. I had to use that to pay for our household expenses, leaving me barely enough to buy a pack of cigarettes. Before I could speak, she waved her hand and pulled Yu toward the exit. Our flight is leaving. Do a good job, and I might promote you when I get back. Watching them walk away, my lips curled into a cold smile. She had no idea she was never stepping foot in this building again. If she had been even slightly careful, she would have realized those pages were actually a divorce agreement and a stock transfer. Combined with my original shares, I now owned over 50% of the company. I could call a board meeting right now and kick her out of her own company. I cannot wait to see her face when she realizes she is no longer the boss. I turned back to my wedding guests, grabbed the microphone, cleared my throat, and spoke. My apologies everyone, but the wedding is cancelled. However, the feast is on me. Eat, drink, and enjoy a free banquet. The crowd gasped, but they quickly started celebrating. Free food is free food, after all. I turned and walked out. I went straight to the office and called an emergency board meeting. Real power and stock are far more comforting than fake love. My assistant reminded me we had to call my ex-wife to notify her. I just shrugged my shoulders. The papers were signed, so her opinion did not matter anyway. But when the line connected, GUU screaming voice blasted through. Joe, how? You are so pathetic. The stand-in told me you cancelled the wedding. You think this will make she pity you? I blocked your number and WeChat on her phone ages ago. She has no idea what you are doing. Everyone knows I am her true love, and you are just a husband in name only. Do you really think you are actually special? Shut up and work. She is too busy being happy with me to care about your pathetic little drama. He hung up. Everyone in the boardroom looked at me awkwardly, but I could not care less about their relationship. Ever since he joined, he had been flaunting their affair to the entire office. He wanted everyone to know, and my wife just let him, seemingly enjoying the attention. It was hilarious, considering how she treated me for 7 years. We dated in secret, without a single whisper. She made me promise never to tell anyone, claiming scandals would ruin the company. The staff only found out about us when the wedding invitations went out. 7 years of hiding like a rat in the dark, terrified of hurting her career. Yet, the moment Ju-Yu returned, she wanted the whole world to know he was her true soulmate. That is the difference between love and indifference. I was not even angry anymore. I just felt pity. If she ever found out that Ju-Yu hid a massive shareholder meeting from her, calling it petty drama, she would probably strangle him. I smiled at the thought. I slammed the signed transfer agreement onto the table. Let us keep this simple. I am now the majority shareholder and chairman of this company. Any objections? No one said a word. In fact, some looked genuinely excited. They had no loyalty to her. They just wanted to make money. They knew I was the one who built this company while she played boss. Ever since Ju-Yu joined and ran amok, our profits had been plummeting. They had been furious but too scared to speak up. Now that I was in charge, they were thrilled. The moment I walked back to my office, my phone buzzed. It was Ju-Yu, sending a video of my ex-wife wearing a gorgeous wedding dress. They were walking arm in arm into a church. Ju-Yu texted me, saying, "So what if you cancelled your fake wedding to save your pride? Have you ever seen Xian in a wedding dress? We are not traveling." She insisted on saving her first walk down the aisle for me, to make up for all our lost years. Staring at the matching wedding rings on their fingers in the video, I scoffed. She had told me my ring did not come in a matching set. It turned out she did have a matching ring. She just gave it to her. For the next month, his pathetic texts never stopped. Still working late at the office. You must be exhausted. Want me to send you some cash for a coffee? Sister Xian just sent me 1 million yuan. Having too much money is such a chore. Hey, did she ignore your texts again? Sorry, but we are on our honeymoon. She only has eyes for me. No time for you. Do not get too jealous. I just smirked and forwarded every single screenshot to my lawyer. With this mountain of evidence, she would get destroyed in court if she tried to contest anything. Soon an entire month flew by. Rebuilding the startup left me absolutely exhausted, and I was finally getting some deep sleep. But in the middle of the night, a hard slap woke me up. Joe, it is 4 a.m. How can you sleep like a dead pig? Get up and throw your smelly clothes out before they ruin my luggage. I stared at Ju-Yu, who had suddenly barged into my house, and frowned. Are you insane? This is my place. How did you even get in? Just then, Bai Jian walked in from the living room, looking completely I brought him here, of course. This room is Ji-Yu's now. It is close to the office, which is perfect for his commute. Got a problem with that? Stunned, I blurted out, I bought this house. If I don't live here, where do I go? Ji-Yu sneered. Who cares where you live? It is not like we do not pay you. Just go rent your own place. Besides, what is yours belongs to President Bai, and what is hers is mine. I can let whoever I want stay in my house. Unhappy about it, I stared at Ju-Yu, completely speechless at his absurd, twisted logic. This shameless couple was not even trying to hide it anymore. I let out a cold smirk, stepped forward and grabbed their bags. Seeing me apparently fall in line, Bai Xian gave a satisfied nod. At least you have some self-awareness, she said. But before she could finish, I threw their luggage straight into the river. I turned back and smiled. Just taking out the trash on my way to work. No need to thank me. Also, we are divorced. This is my house. Get out now, or I am calling the police. I slammed the signed divorce papers on the table and went straight to the office. Now that the company is public, my time is incredibly valuable, and there is a mountain of work waiting. Plus, since they are back, I can finally tell HR to process their terminations. After speaking with HR, I headed back to my office, only to find Bai Xian and Ji Yu already waiting inside. The second he saw me, Ji Yu sneered. "Well, look who it is, our ex. You acted so tough at home. I thought you actually became someone important this past month. But look at you, still working obediently at Xian's company." Bai Xian lifted her chin, looking as proud as a rooster. "Zhou Hao, I guess I was too soft on you. It made you selfish and ungrateful. Even if you used underhanded tricks to make me sign those papers, and walk away with more of our marital assets. So what? Do not forget that I am the chairwoman here, and you are just a low-level employee. I can fire you whenever I want. One bad reference from me, and you will never find another job in this industry." To prove her point, she swept a teapot off my desk, shattering it on the floor. She gave me a wicked smirk. "If you want to keep working in this industry, get down and lick the floor clean. Do that, and I might let you clean our toilets instead." Before I could even respond, you chimed in with a smirk. "Oh Xian, you are way too soft-hearted. You not only let him keep his job, but you even treat him to expensive tea. It is almost like you still care about him." I am getting jealous here. I could only laugh at their pathetic attempts to humiliate me. President, she and you must have been playing so hard this past month that they had absolutely no idea. She had already been kicked off the board. I shrugged, completely "Sure, Madame President, go ahead and fire me then." Bai Xian blinked in surprise, then let out a cold, arrogant snort. "Zhou Hao, do not think I do not know your game. You think this place cannot run without you. Let me tell you the truth. Did you really believe I was going to make you the vice president? I only used your experience to fix our plummeting sales and falling stock price. Now that the restructuring is finished, even a dog could do your job as director. What value do you think you have left?" Beside her, Ji Yu waved his hand impatiently. "Xian, do not waste your breath. Talking to someone like him is a complete waste of time. Once he is blacklisted and cannot find a job, he will come crawling back to us on his knees begging for mercy." Bai Xian smirked triumphantly and turned to HR, barked down an order. "Go prepare his termination papers immediately." The HR representative returned with the papers, but instead of handing them to me, they passed them directly to Bai Xian. She frowned, visibly annoyed. "Why are you giving this to me? Are you new here? Do you not know I am the president?" I smiled at her sheer ignorance. I tossed the board's official appointment letter onto the desk with a smirk. "Oh, by the way, you probably missed the news. The shareholders met, and by unanimous vote, I am the new CEO, and you, Bai Xian, are fired." "Fired?" Bai Xian scoffed, amused. She burst into hysterical laughter, clutching her stomach as if she had just heard the funniest joke in the world. Watching her double over and shake with laughter, only one thought crossed my mind. This woman has completely lost her mind. She laughed until tears came to her eyes. Wiping away her tears, she gasped for "You, the CEO, firing me. Zhou Hao, did you work so much overtime that your brain broke? I do not know how much you paid to bribe HR, but I am the president of this company. You are just a director. Your shares are practically non-existent. Even if there was a meeting, you have zero authority to fire me without my consent." She smirked, completely convinced she had one. But looking at her smug, arrogant, and utterly clueless face, I could not help but laugh out loud. This idiot had no idea she had already signed a share transfer agreement weeks ago. She owned 0% of this company now. She was absolutely nothing. Hearing me laugh, Ji Yu glared at me with pure disgust. "Keep laughing, you idiot," he sneered. "You are on the brink of ruin, and you are still smiling. You are all talk." He walked over to Bai Xian, wrapping an arm around her shoulder like some heroic protector. "Kneel down and apologize to Shine right now. Maybe she will remember your past hard work, double quotes, ... and give you a job cleaning toilets or running errands. Otherwise, get ready to be blacklisted from this entire industry." Ji Yu's words fueled her arrogance even further. She snatched my teacup and smashed it onto the floor, shards flying everywhere. "Just kneeling is way too easy." Pointing arrogantly at the broken pieces on the floor, she barked her order. "Zhou Hao, get down and lick this liquid off the floor. If a single drop is left, I will fire you on the spot and ruin your career. It is the end of the year. Let us see who hires you." She stood there looking down on me like I was a worthless insect. I slowly stood up, facing her head on. Bai Xian thought I was finally surrendering and grinned widely. "That is more like it. Good to see you know your place. Now hurry up and lick. Do not waste my time." She waved her hand as if dismissing a stray dog. But in a flash I grabbed the teapot and threw the scalding tea right in her face. The hot water drenched her, turning her perfect makeup into a smeared mess. She froze in absolute shock, utterly speechless. A second later, she let out a piercing shriek. Shaking with rage, she pointed a trembling finger at me. "Zhou Hao, you are dead. Security, throw him out right now." She screamed at the top of her lungs, but as a voice echoed out, nothing happened. Not a single employee moved to help her. Bai Xian stood there, completely dumbfounded, unable to comprehend why her orders were being ignored. I let out a cold laugh and threw the signed share transfer agreement right at her face. Nobody is coming to save you. But before you are thrown out of my building, why don't you take a close look at this? She picked up the papers, scanning them quickly. Her smug look dissolved into shock, then pure horror. Share transfer agreement, she whispered, staring blankly at the page. This is impossible, she screamed hysterically, pointing her finger at me. You forged this. You forged my signature. Ju Yu leaned over to read the document, and his face instantly turned pale. Joe, how forging official documents is a crime. I am calling the police, he shouted with righteous anger. I shrugged, completely Go ahead, call them. Get a handwriting analysis while you are at it. I do not care. I gave her a knowing smirk. After all, you signed this yourself before your vacation. You did not forget, did you? Reality finally hit her. She bit her lip, her face twisting in rage and shock. You despicable bastard, she spat, her voice trembling. I thought that was just a standard financial report when I signed it. How could you be so cruel and scheme against me? Scheme against her. She was the one who tried to ruin me first. Besides, I built this entire company from scratch. She was the one riding my coattails. Are you finished? I asked coldly. If you are, sign the exit papers and get out before I have security drag you out. I expected another screaming fit, but she suddenly did a complete turnaround. She grabbed my arm, her voice suddenly sweet and pleading. Oh, Joe, how? I was just playing around. You're a brilliant mind. I could never actually fire you. The kneeling thing was just a joke. She turned to Ju Yu, prompting him with her eyes. Ju Yu caught on instantly and nodded like a puppet. Yes, exactly. Xian was actually planning to make you VP weeks ago. We were just out of the office and could not announce it. She really values you. She would never fire you. This is all just one big misunderstanding. Watching them switch gears so fast just to suck up to me made me laugh out loud. How pathetic. After all that tough talk, they were just terrified of losing their cushy positions. If they knew it would end like this, they shouldn't have tried to kick me to the curb. I pretended to think it over and nodded. All right, maybe I won't fire you. But I am moving you both to new positions. Relieved, they exchanged looks and quickly agreed. Ju Yu stepped forward eagerly. President Joe, are you putting me in charge of a team? Or maybe finance? I patted his shoulder with a smirk. Oh, those jobs are far too boring for talents like you. From now on, you two are in charge of cleaning the restrooms. Bai Shine looked like her jaw was about to drop. She stared at me in disbelief and shrieked. You are making me clean toilets. I raised an eyebrow, completely unfazed. Is there an issue? She pointed at her chest as if I had insulted her entire lineage. I am the president of this company. You expect me to clean toilets? I let out a loud laugh. President? You mean ex-president? And let us not forget how you got that title. I must have been blind to give her majority control in the first place. Back when we started, we were crammed in a tiny apartment, living off instant noodles. She was so sweet back then, promising she would endure any struggle just to be with me. I worked myself to the bone to build this empire and transferred the shares just to give her a secure, perfect life. I spoiled her like a princess, never letting her lift a finger. I would drop critical meetings just to cook her favorite meals. But the moment she became president, she started looking down on me, complaining that I was not romantic or attentive enough. She began spending all her time partying at high-end venues, surrounded by elite fun. I gave her endless chances, but she only hurt me more. She even used a stand-in groom at our wedding to humiliate me. And now, she actually has the nerve to act like she is too good to clean toilets. It is absolutely hilarious. Ji Yu chimed in, looking deeply offended. Joe, how? I am a senior technical specialist. Forcing me to clean toilets is crossing the line. He scowled, playing the victim. It is amazing how both of them still fail to see reality. I looked at them coldly. I offered you a transfer, and you rejected it. By company policy, I have every right to fire you immediately. Bai Xian's face drained of color. She bit her lip, looking up at me with tear-filled eyes. Joe, how? After everything we have, 7 years, are you really doing this to me? She sobbed, trying to weaponize her tears for sympathy. Are you even human? To just kick me out like garbage after 7 years? Ju, you chimed in. Joe, how? You planned this, didn't you? Classic. Men get rich and turn rotten. I let out a cold laugh. She should look in the mirror before saying that. Once, we actually loved each other. We built this from nothing, dreaming of the future. But everything changed when she became president. She turned vain, obsessed with money, and eventually did not hesitate. Betray me. Honestly, her downfall was entirely her own doing. I pointed toward the door and kept my voice high. Get out. Don't make me call security to drag you both out. Shaken, she grabbed the termination letter, but glared at me with pure hatred before stomping away. I knew she wouldn't let this go quietly, but I didn't expect her move to be this fast. Barely 15 minutes later, my secretary burst into the office, pale and panting. Mr. Joe, something terrible is happening. It is Bai. Xiong, she is on the roof, threatening to jump. The word jump left me completely speechless. I expected tantrums, tears, and screaming, but suicide. Was she completely out of her mind? Since playing the victim failed, she was going to play dirty. My heart sank. I bolted out of my chair and ran toward the rooftop, chest pounding. If she actually did it, the fallout would destroy me. Stepping onto the roof, I saw her immediately, standing right on the ledge, swaying precariously as if she might jump any second. Her hair was whipping in the wind, maximizing the drama. But what absolutely floored me was the tripod setup. She was live streaming this whole thing, and the comments section was flying by at warp speed. Every single viewer was screaming from my head, boycott Joe Howe and his company. He should be ruined. Meanwhile, she cried like a tragic heroine for the lens. I poured my soul into building this company with him, and even married him. I gave him everything, and he stole my business, fired me, and threw me out like trash. Why should I even live? Yet, even through her sobbing, I saw her eyes darting to check the live viewer count on the screen. As the numbers spiked, she turned up the water. Honestly, her acting deserved an Oscar. The police had arrived and were desperately trying to talk her down, but she completely ignored them, determined to keep her performance going. She kept playing the victim for her audience. Below us, a massive crowd was pointing and whispering, their voices buzzing in my ears like a swarm of angry flies. What a monster, he deserves to hang on a lamppost. I felt like I was being burned alive at the stake. Then, right on cue, GUU showed up. Before I could even speak, he dropped to his knees, slamming his forehead against the concrete. Mr. Joe, please spare us. We are just ordinary people. He wailed, snot and tears everywhere. Anyone watching would think I was a mass murderer. Below, the crowd went wild, screaming about greedy capitalist vampires and driving workers to suicide. I felt utterly suffocated. My phone buzzed. It was a panicked shareholder yelling at me to fix this immediately because stock was crashed. I took a deep breath to steady my nerves, walked over to her on the ledge, and asked, "What do you actually want, Bai Xion? Give me back the company, and I will come down." I sighed, reached into my bag, and pulled out an agreement I had prepared earlier. "Fine, sign this." She snatched it from my hands and signed her name. Instantly, she stopped crying. A smug, toxic grin spread across her face. I won. Joe Howe. Ju Yu scrambled to his feet with a smirk. "All that planning for nothing. You've still had to give it back." I looked at them, completely speechless, and pointed at the papers. "Maybe you should read what you just signed first," I said calmly. I tapped the bold heading that read divorce agreement. "Take a closer look. This is a divorce paper, not a company transfer." Her smug grin instantly froze. She stared at the page. Her face flushed from pale to crimson, then to a sick green. "You played me," she shrieked, sounding like a cat with its tail stepped on. "Divorce papers, you tricked me." Screaming in rage, she tore the document to shreds. The shreds fluttered down like snow. "I will jump. If I go down, I am taking you with me." She lunged back toward the ledge. I sneered. Some people never learn. Fortunately, the police had finally caught on, and before she even had a chance to perform her dramatic leap, two officers grabbed her arms from both sides. "Ma'am, cooperate with us," she thrashed, screaming. "Let me go. You are all his accomplices. I will see." But her struggles were useless. They hauled her straight into an ambulance and sent her to the hospital. Watching them drive off, I finally let out a breath. She was pure poison. If she had actually jumped, I would have been branded a murderer forever. Thank God. I pulled out my phone and dialed my lawyer and PR head. Squash the online rumors immediately. Gather everything we have to sue her for defamation. She needs to learn what happens when you play with fire. I hung up, massaging my temples. I felt the sheer exhaustion of the day. It was midnight when I finally left the building. Suddenly, a black sedan pulled up, and the window rolled down to reveal G. I stared, completely blindsided. "Shouldn't he be at the hospital crying with Bai Xian?" "Finally out," he said, his voice carrying a creepy, mocking edge. "I have been waiting for you." I scowled. "What do you want? Keep back, or I will call the police." He just smiled, his eyes turning cold and calculating. "Relax," he whispered, leaning closer. "I know you want payback on her, and I can help you." He offered to help, but alarm bells immediately went off. He and Bai Xian were cut from the same cloth. There was no way. He was being sincere. A wolf offering to guard the sheep is never a good sign. I watched him warily, like a snake ready to strike. He chuckled. "I get it. You don't trust me. But she is a sinking ship. I am not drowning with her. Instead of sinking with her, I might as well jump ship." He sounded completely logical, but I knew better than to buy his act. "So, what is your plan for switching sides?" He paused, a flash of pure greed crossing his face. "The internet is wild right now, but I have hard evidence of her lies. Give me 5 million, and I will make this all go away." 5 million, I almost burst out laughing. He thought I was an easy mark. Playing along, I acted surprised. "Wait, aren't you and Bai Xian still together? Why help me now?" He sneered. "Are you blind? I only stayed with her for the cash. Now that she is broke, why would I waste my time with that old hag? An old hag? He actually said that about her. Talk about honor among thieves. Their alliance was purely superficial. And if I say no, I asked, his face darkened. Then we both burn. I will ruin you. Hearing that, I burst out laughing. Gu scowled, visibly annoyed. You are ruined. Why are you laughing? I said nothing. I simply pulled out my phone and tapped a quick message. Within seconds, sirens wailed in the distance. Before he could react, patrol cars swerved in, blocking him completely. Officers piled out and pinned him to the hood. Gu, you are under arrest for extortion. Let us go. His face went dead white, like cheap plaster. He began to stutter, eyes darting around wildly like a cornered animal looking for an escape route. That did not exist. How did you call them? He stammered. I laughed at his clueless face. We have security cameras. Genius, you have been skulking around my building all day. I knew you were here. I just did not expect you to deliver yourself right to me. His face twitched as he blustered. You are lying. You have no proof. I pulled out my phone and tapped the screen, showing him the active voice recorder. The ticking red timer shattered his confidence. I had been recording us from the very beginning. This audio clears my name and seals your extortion charge. Juyu's face went from white to green. His lips trembled, but no words came out. He collapsed onto the pavement like a popped balloon, his eyes completely lifeless and defeated, and filled with despair. After backing up his phone, the police handed me the files. Holding that evidence, I let out a massive sigh of relief. The dark clouds finally parted. I could clear my name and start fresh. I immediately called my PR team. We leaked the files and set the record straight. Public opinion did a complete U-turn, shredding both of them online. I had my lawyers file a massive defamation suit. Then, a few days later, she showed up at my office, completely her makeup was smeared all over her face, making her look like a circus clown. Please drop the lawsuit. I lost my job. I can't pay. I will be your slave. Anything. Watching her grovel, my heart felt absolutely no pity, only endless disgust. You aren't sorry, I said, my voice dead. You are just terrified because you are finished. I brushed her off and walked away. With ironclad evidence, the trial was a breeze. I won, and she was hit with massive damages. She also got 3 years in prison for defamation. Juyu's massive extortion charge locked him away for over 10 years. With them out of my way, I put all my energy into my business, turning our company into a powerhouse. The shadows of the past are finally gone. Ahead of me is a bright, limit-free future.